Ho, 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 and a merry pin miss. You are listening to the BlahCade podcast. I am your host, Shut Your Trap, aka Chris Freebus. Joining me, as always, my co host from halfway across the world down under, Jared Morgs.
And a merry pin miss to you as well. You have to be very careful how you say that.
So, apparently, it's food time for me and Jared as we both just got done shoving food down our gullets as fast as we could. I myself had a meatball panini, and Jared apparently shoved down some chicken curry of some nature.
Yeah, it was good, but I ate it too fast. So there will probably be lots of burping and other gastronomic.
I was just going to say, so if we get the inappropriate burp going on, you'll know why.
Yeah, that's right. Oh boy, geez, it seems like ages since we've done a thing, but it hasn't really.
To me, it seems like we just did one, and then I was like, wait a second, we did not record last week. I don't know about you, but this holiday season has more than just snuck up on me. It's given me a jump scare.
Yeah, totally. Me too. I don't know where the time is going, but it's just racing past.
Well, and it doesn't help. Normally in our industry, we everything shuts down the week before Christmas.
Yeah.
The show that I am currently on, we're going all the way up until the 23rd. So,
wow.
That's not, on Friday, and then get off and have Christmas Eve on Saturday, and then Christmas on Sunday. So it's like work. Ta-da! So
Holidays.
Holiday. It's really blazing up fast on me, much faster than normally would happen, because there's just no time for me to go, oh, well, I can take care of that once I'm off. Nope, I can't.
That's right. Yeah, it's a bit the same for me as well. I've got, I'm working right up to Friday this week.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's sort of weird to be doing that and not have some sort of like buffer either side. And I won't be taking any holidays during that sort of week period between Christmas and New Year's either, because I burned up all my leave, you see, on a certain little trip.
Yeah, a certain little trip.
Yeah, over to Europe. So yeah, it'll be me in the office with all my friends, which is probably not very many.
I feel bad for my kid, and I do remember when I was a kid, I hated it when this happened with Christmas, and that is, he gets all next week off, so he's got an entire week off before Christmas. Now, to a kid, that is just pure torture. It's also kind of torture to the parents.
But everyone has pain.
Yeah, it's especially torturous for the kids. And then, of course, they only get a week afterwards to mess around with all the new stuff that they had. And then it's right back to school. So it's kind of brutal on everybody this time period. Quit doing this Christmas. Quit showing up on days like that, or on the weekend like this.
It's bad. But the good thing is, I guess, is you get 2 days. What we do here in Australia, we get the Boxing Day holiday and the Christmas Day holiday on Monday and Tuesday after. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, we don't do Boxing Day here in America.
Okay. So it's just that's what Cyber Friday is, or Black Friday is.
Okay.
Probably for you guys, it's probably like all the sales happen online. But for us, it's Boxing Day. Everyone goes to the supermarkets after being totally over, being home for just one day and eating too much turkey and food. And saying, we need to go and have some different food and also spend all the money.
No, we do the great American tradition of go get in the return line and return things.
Oh, we do that too. But it's balanced between all the people buying stuff so they can then go and return it later.
Right. What's really funny is, of course, a lot of people get gift cards for the holidays. And I know, especially in our Targets, you go to the toy section, cleaned out, nothing there. And it's not because, now if you went on Christmas Eve, still fully stocked. It's literally they pull the merchandise off the shelves and go and hide it so that you can only purchase with your gift card the dregs that they weren't going to sell anyway. And then they'll put back out the full stock later. It's really kind of bizarre, kind of mean. Again, because it's like, no, you must hold on to your gift card. But anyway.
Yeah, I know. It's
Jared, why don't you tell us the story? We didn't get a chance to get to this last time. Jared was talking about his trip.
Yeah.
And he never got to get around to the unfortunate business that happened on the trip. That being his phone getting stolen by a gypsy.
Yeah, that's right. I got gypsied when I was over in Paris. The Romanian gypsies are prevalent over there, and they are pretty much in all the major tourist spots, and they can be there at any time of the day, early in the morning, like peak times, late in the evening. They're just ever present. And unfortunately, I let my guard down one morning when it seemed really quiet and there were only Parisians running around. And then all of a sudden, I just got accosted by these two. And they do this thing where they shake papers in your face to try and distract you, and say, "Oh, sign this, sign this, sign this," and they're constantly talking and constantly making noise. And the other offsider is basically lifting all the shit out of your pockets.
Wow.
So they're very good at it, and it was my own stupid fault because I had my phone in this little pouch in my bag, and they would have seen it from a mile off, and they went, right, this guy, we'll have him. They tried to get into my bag as well, but they soon realized that my bag has two big strips of Velcro on it, so if they started to frack around with that, they would have made a hell of a racket, and then I would have turned around and strangled them. Which is what I felt like doing after. The only reason I knew exactly where they stole my phone is because my Pebble watch is paired to my phone, and it started to vibrate shortly after walking away from them. I said, oh, that's unusual, because it has been dropping connection a little bit occasionally. Usually it just means I need to restart both the phone and the watch. And I thought, oh, no, that's interesting. I started tapping away where I usually keep the phone. I went, oh, you little... and realized that at that point they got it, and by that point I didn't even know where they were. They just disappeared.
Right.
So luckily, because Google is Google, all my photos were backed up to the cloud, so I didn't lose any of those. But I kind of did lose the ability to take my own personal photographs from that point on in the holiday, which was about 3 days left. And it was okay because Kim had her Galaxy S7 with us, so we sort of shared that and used that as to take photos for the remainder of the trip. So it wasn't great, but it happened. And I had insurance for the trip. Yeah, I had insurance for the trip, so I ended up getting about $650 back. So I just made up the difference and got myself a brand new Google Pixel instead. So there was a silver lining to it all. I got to upgrade my phone, and I'm really enjoying the Pixel. So I guess you got to take what you can out of it, and it was a bit serendipitous, I guess, but frustrating at the time.
Now, you mentioned the Pebble, and I just read that Pebble is going kaput. What does that mean for your Pebble?
Not much at the moment. Fitbit is acquiring Pebble. They bought them for a steal at $40 million, which they got offers a lot higher than that about 2 years ago when they were in the height of their popularity. But what it means is that the Pebble Time 2, which I got onto the Kickstarter for, had been discontinued, and I was a bit concerned that I may not get my Kickstarter entitlements back. But Pebble were actually really good, and they looked after us, and I got my full refund back, which timing-wise was great because it meant I could update to the larger version of the Pixel phone.
Great!
Which was, like, again, serendipitous, really. So. They will not discontinue support for Pebble. They're going to distance themselves from the cloud services that Pebble relied on and sort of work those out of the Pebble's ecosystem, which means that we won't have all the sort of cloud-based stuff. That maybe things like voice dictation won't work on the Pebble in coming months, or they might find another solution they can just plug in. But overall, I think that the watch is still going to work. We should still be able to sync it to our devices like iOS and Android devices just fine. So it's not going to be like instantly disabled or crippled in any way. It's still going to work. It just means that it probably won't receive any major updates moving forward.
All right. Well, this kind of leads me into what our first topic of the day is going to be. Because one of our listeners emailed us, Graham Best, a whole bunch of topics that, we're going to spread out through many podcasts because they're rather good topics. But one of the things was Christmas gifts for the pinball fan. And so knowing about the Pebble, knowing about your phone getting lost, and I thought, the pinball fan doesn't just need pinball-related items. He can typically likes tech stuff, gizmos, what have you. So I thought we might touch upon some items, but just in general, if you if you're listening to this, that means you are the pinball fan. So I guess you know what you want, but here are some suggestions in case people are going, well, what do I ask for? I don't know. I kind of came up with a couple of things that you might think about for giving a fellow pinball fan, if you will, or something like that. And Jared, you can chime in if you got anything for yourself. But I thought I might
fire away.
Yeah, I thought I might start off with, hey, our sponsor, Wizard Amusements. He does these cool pinball plungers. Even regardless of if you have a pinball table or not, they're pretty trick-looking things. And, sometimes people like to decorate their desks with little items or trinkets, about things they like. And
you can't get much more pinball than a plunger, right? A custom plunger.
A custom plunger, and they're not exactly on the expensive side either. So it's certainly one item that you could go, one direction you could go. Pinball T-shirts.
Oh, yes. My favorite.
Right. They're out there, and there's quite a variety to choose from. Different people, as pinball has gained popularity, obviously people are catering to that.
Pinball shirts, there's heaps out there.
Exactly.
Pretty much all pinball podcasts have a shirt of some description, don't they, Chris?
They do, as a matter of fact. I wonder whose website. Yeah, this isn't one giant sponsorship, people. Literally, there are some really cool shirts out there. Jared has talked about them in the past. Some of the ones that he's got, I've seen them on.
Ones from Double Danger, great. I've got the Danger on the front and the tilt on the back. That's a great shirt from Double Danger. They've got all sorts of really cool merch. I'd recommend them. As a pinhead, I'd be happy to receive any of those.
Right. If you want to go the little more expensive route, you can always, find a translite or a back glass or even a used playfield that is, been completely depopulated to hang on the wall.
Yeah, that's right. Make it
show your love for all things pinball. The great thing with a used playfield is they don't have to be in perfect condition at all, and that's why people are selling just the playfield.
And they got real character when they're used as well. Like you see the age and some of the on the older playfields, you see the lacquer is a bit sort of feathered and stuff like that, and they look really good. And if you are a bit handy with LEDs and low voltage wires, you can actually backlight all the inserts as well with LED strings. So that's pretty easy to do.
And then the last idea that I kind of came up with is totally pinball related is, well, how about buying a season or a couple of packs of pinball from TPA or Zen? Why don't you give Zachary a pinball to somebody? There's many things of that nature. If you know the person's on Steam, and if you don't know if they play it or not, maybe they only play on mobile. Well, hey, gift them it for Steam, or vice versa. Maybe they only play it on Steam and would love to throw it their way on mobile. It's one of those things where not all of us, and I certainly am not this way. I may have 3 or 4 different devices that could play Pinball Arcade, but I only have them on 2 of them. So
yeah, that's right. Because you can't really buy them all, but if someone gives you the gift of pinball on a mobile device and you maybe only play on Steam, that means you can be mobile and enjoy it while you're out.
Exactly. For instance, even with Zen, I only have Zen on Steam. I don't have Zen at all on my mobile. So
yeah, what I'd probably suggest there too is if it works a bit differently on iOS and Android, where you can't really gift people. So the best thing to do there is to actually just buy them some Play Store credit or iTunes gift cards.
Exactly.
And just put You can even on the gift cards, if you really want to get fancy, you can actually, put pictures of stickers of pinball stuff on it, or print out a pinball machine and stick it onto the card and sort of customize and give them a suggestion that perhaps they might want to use it on pinball,
Right.
There's plenty of cool things you can do. Easy.
Absolutely easy. Just go on eBay and type in pinball and you'll find all manner of, everything from keychains that go on the end, the door keys for pinball machines. They'll have the art, playfield plastics, all sorts of really cool, interesting things that you can snake and
you can even
it that
get
way.
these like items for the house. Like you can get these really cool lamps that are made from like pop bumper housings and like all these cool little playfield toys that everyone use. And it looks really, really good. And I would be happy to have one of those in my room, particularly if you've got like a den with lots of pinball machines in it. They look amazing.
Well, as for the person that has lots of pinball machines already, how about a neon sign, right?
Yeah, that's right. Or like a cool topper for the pinball
Right.
machine. Heaps of those available now, and they're actually pretty affordable for a non-pinhead to get a pinhead.
Right.
And they really do look cool if you've got a games room.
So anyway, there you go. There's some gift suggestions. I know Christmas, by the time you listen to this podcast, it's going to be too late to buy any of these things, but next year, or for the person's birthday, or for Valentine's Day, or Father's Day, or Mother's Day, because we know that there's a female. Jared, edit that out. We know that there's female. We know there's some gals out there that play pinball.
They are a rare breed, but yes, thankfully they're getting greater in numbers, which is good.
So a lot of places do the annual countdowns, you might say, or year-end summations, and we're no different. Just that also. So let's present to you our top 5 and worst 5. Well, maybe not worst 5. I didn't come up with 5, but worst and best moments of pinball in 2016.
Okay, let's kick it off. Do we go any order, or
Jared? How about you? We're going to do the top 5. We'll save the worst 5 after. Jared, why don't you kick it off and see? Let's hear what you have.
Okay. Well, I think probably one of the top 5 for me was actually an app release, and that was Pin Out. I think that as pinball evolves and the idea of pinball opens up to more people, having apps like Pin Out, which are a different take on pinball, essentially an endless runner for pinball, makes people think about pinball differently and gives them a gateway into the hobby. And I think the more games like that we have, the better for the hobby. So that was a real highlight for me. The fact that it also comes with a soundtrack, an actual soundtrack that you can buy on iTunes and Google Play, is also very interesting as well. It's not often that I actually buy a video game soundtrack, but the music from this game is so good that I went, you know what, I'm going to do this, pull the trigger on the soundtrack. So there you go. So that was one highlight. Of course, the obvious highlight, which hasn't quite come to fruition yet on mobile, but I understand it's pretty close, is Stern Pinball Arcade. That offering, again, it's broadening the scope of pinball to not just digital pinheads, but the wider Stern loving community, which is good, every aspect really. It means that pinheads that don't have access to good tables get to play those tables. It also acts as a pretty powerful marketing tool for Stern as well. So again, using Stern's marketing machine to drive digital pinball adoption, smart move.
I'm going to piggyback on that because that was also on my 5 moments. And specifically, I wrote down and what it means to pinball. So you really touched upon that. And that is, bringing absolutely current tables to the digital market. And like you said, for those people that don't have access to it, or, it's a trip to get access to something like this, it really helps bridge that gap and also feed the fire for any of these. We just got a notification of on Twitter somebody being really excited for the fact that Ghostbusters is coming out on Stern Pinball Arcade. And it's like, and not only that, but the fact that you'll get to be able to play the premium version of it with the non-slingshot. What do they call those? The
ghost slings.
Ghost slings, yes. To be able to play with that, whereas
it's going to be cool.
Typically, I'm sure that if you find it on location, you're going to be finding the pro version. So
yeah, absolutely. Certainly here, you would most likely find the pro. And from what I've heard, the pro plays surprisingly well. But those ghost slings are a real game changer. And the the sub playfield lock with the ramp actually goes underneath the playfield and back up again. Like that sort of stuff, it's cool. And, you know, it's one of those things that you just don't get to experience unless you know probably a mate who has an LE, or you have a very rich operator that doesn't mind throwing money at pinball machines, right? So
yeah, even though you and I have not gotten our hands on it yet, plenty of people have, and it's one of those things that I see the potential that Farsight can run away with this with. Probably will want to do it too, and that's to really, you know, give a deep dive into the history of Stern and touch upon all these things. You know, their massive back library when you include Data East and Sega tables.
Well, that's right. There's unlimited possibilities, and from what I understand, I think Stern has been pretty generous to Farsight, and they've actually got some of the. I know with all the new tables, they've given them the direct CAD assets for the tables.
Right.
So what you're seeing in game is the reason why they look so crisp is they've got all the current assets for the games. Now, not sure how that's going to translate for some of the older Sega titles and all those ones, but you know, the CAD files are probably no longer openable in the later CAD packages, but you never know. They might be able to do something that allows them to upscale the graphics, right?
Absolutely. And who knows, with Stern, maybe they go back and do it themselves for the fact that they want to re-release some of these tables, because they certainly have, you know, the fact that I know they're not the ones paying for it, but they're the ones building it, the Medieval Madness machines. You know, it's one of those things that it opens up a lot of possibilities for where they go with it, and certainly for every table that they produce going forward, it's exciting because we pretty much know it will be coming to this. The other thing that I like hearing, something we've been advocating for Pinball Arcade for some time, and that is there is going to be a cap for what the minimum system requirements are.
Yes, and that's right. Particularly on mobile,
it's pretty much you better be up to speed now with your device, otherwise it ain't going to work.
You've got to have a minimum RAM requirement. You've got to have pretty much the latest operating system, both on iOS and Android. And it's like too bad if you don't. And it's absolutely required because, you know, we can't keep supporting the lowest common denominator. We have to go, look, if you want this game, it's demanding and you need to have the right hardware for it.
Right. And of course, that means there won't be any skimping, we would hope, on the mobile versions in terms of graphics.
Hopefully not. Like, let's see what they can do with lighting with a custom engine, and let's see if they can, you know, really push the boundaries of what's possible on mobile. Bring it on. I can't wait until I see the mobile release of it. It's going to be great.
So something else that excited me that neither of us have gotten our hands on, and that's the proliferation of the digital pinball cabs.
Oh, geez. There's one Arcuda.
Arcuda? Yes.
Yeah, it's based down here. That's done an actual partnership with Pinball Arcade. And I find it interesting.
That's the newest information, it's really interesting to me with them being in Australia. I'm wondering how that's going to work for sales.
It is unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, are they going to be, you know, having localized building of these, you know, machines in the States and in Europe, or is everything going to be shipped from Australia? But it truly is exciting that they partnered with Farsight. Now, we should clarify, they partnered with Farsight for the Pinball Arcade, not for Stern Pinball Arcade.
That's correct. And I think it's quite interesting that Farsight have been quiet on cabinet support leading up to this announcement, and have a look what we have now here, cabinet support.
Right.
From a third party.
It might tick off a lot of cab builders out there that they've been screaming for this for so long, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a second, I have to actually purchase this person's a cab to have it fully licensed and functional, because it seems by the press release that Farsight has worked out with them so that it does all the cool, you know, uses actual pop bumpers, uses flipper coils, uses rumble, uses the physical plunger. And they said in terms of visuals, it's not just going to be camera angles, but they said there's the possibility of the 3D aspects, which makes me wonder, are they using like the Xbox One camera to do that head tracking?
Well, I think they probably have to if they're doing that without any goggles.
Right.
That's very interesting though, right? Like this is the sort of stuff that's always lacking in a cabinet. You get your screen aligned right, you get everything dropped in the cabinet that theoretically would make it look real, but there's that little thing that looks slightly off when you're looking at the playfield, and it just makes it look like it's like, you know, when you're watching a sports game and you see the pitch decorations, like all the sponsored ads, and then they switch to a weird camera angle and everything's stretched out really, really, really far. It's a little bit like that with 3D pinball, isn't it? When you're playing on a cabinet, it just looks slightly wrong.
So not only do you have Arcuda doing Pinball Arcade, you've also got VP Cabs, who we talked with in a past podcast, and of course they partnered with Zen to do all that. So now on the one front, it's like, what a bummer that you're not going to be able to have all your pinball in one. But then again, well, now you have maybe buy 2 cabinets because, you know, it's more fun to have more, right?
Why not? Like pinball cabinets, like pinballs in general, they tend to like to have friends in the same room with them. So you should never buy just one. You should always buy one and give it a friend to play with. Otherwise, they start howling, you know, and carrying on. It's very annoying.
So I really do. I like I said, I've not yet gotten my hands on any digital pinball cab to date. I don't know what it feels like to play on one of these cabinets. But I do love the fact that there's 2 companies at least out there. I know there's a third company that we've mentioned before, name escaping me. That well, then you got typically your virtual pin cabinets also. But the fact that in 1 year we've had 2 companies come out with it, it just kind of goes to show the popularity of pinball increasing, and that's always a good thing. And
I think most importantly, the popularity of digital pinball, which you know, you would not have seen this back like 3 or 4 years ago. No one would have gone, oh yeah, let's actually produce a product that will run visual pinball, like, you know, VPin MAME or, you know, those sort of things, and mass market it, which is essentially what they're doing now.
Right.
Because we have things like Zen and we have things like Pinball Arcade, you know. It's a real turning point for the industry, I think.
All right, your turn.
Okay, so we've done Stern, Pin Out. I think the really positive thing as well is that we Steam players have the option to play Zaccaria on their platform. Zaccaria was a mobile-only release for a while, and it's an acquired taste. A lot of people go, yeah, I like it, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't really get into it as much. But the ability for them to play it on Steam, and, you know, really, they've done cabinet support out of the box for it. So that's another one you can actually add to your virtual pin cabinet as a really solid contender for sort of IRL play.
Speaking of more things that I've yet to get my hands on, another moment for me that it excites me all the same, virtual reality pinball, but specifically what Jeremy Williams had done when he built his own stand-up controller for doing the VR pinball, because that apparently made all the difference in the world. Now I keep on seeing posts of people that try virtual pinball for the first time, and it always comes back the same. Oh my God, this is how it is to be played.
Yes.
Whether they're playing it Farsight's or playing Zen's versions of it, everybody raves about it.
It's like the perfect pairing for what is a physical media into the VR world. It's just the recipe is right. They got it right on both counts.
All right, I've only got 2 more. How many more do you have?
I'm running out. I'm trying to think digitally the good things that have happened, but I think I might be getting low in the barrel. How about yours?
Okay, so here I'll rattle off my final 2 top 5s. First one I'm going to talk about is the EMs on Pinball Arcade. Talking about El Dorado, Fireball, Centigrade, and Jack's Open. I'm not a fan of EMs in real life. I mean, you give me the choice between playing an EM and playing a System 11 or a DMD machine. I'm going to go for those almost every single time. But within Pinball Arcade, especially when playing on mobile, it's so satisfying to just get in a quick and easy, I shouldn't say easy, but a quick game that you know is not going to, you're not going to barrel along on it for 45 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. There's something about EMs in a digital form that, surprisingly, it's a strange juxtaposition, isn't it? Because EMs are the furthest away from digital that you can get. Yet in a digital medium, there's something about them that really works.
And Farsight managed to. It was with it was with these four that they finally had got what it is about how an EM plays. I don't think we got that with Big Shot. I don't think we got it with Central Park.
No. Those need some serious tuning.
Yeah, they don't feel like how an EM should. And although I'm still not 100% on the tuning that Farsight has done, in general, it still captures the spirit rather well with these last 4 EM releases. So I really, that was kind of a highlight for me in 2016, because all of these were released in 2016.
Yeah, that's right. Except for the really, really early ones. But yeah, all those 4. It was a packed year. It was a packed year for EMs. But yeah, I agree with you on those. They add a nice variety to Pinball Arcade in that you have quick plays and then you have the long marches like Twilight Zone and all those ones that, it gives you variation, and that's good.
And then last but not least for me, it actually might be my number one moment of 2016 regarding pinball, and that is Zen's release of their Alien 3-pack. I loved the heck out of it. The Aliens table for me is spot on. It really raises the bar for when I eventually get the chance to play the Alien table that Highway Pinball has put out. That's what I'm going to be comparing it to, because they hit upon every moment and notion that I absolutely wanted them to hit upon. They capture the atmosphere perfectly. It tells a story. It just really does interesting gameplay. And I say that also about Alien Isolation. I think they did a bang-up job on that. And I've said that I'm not the biggest fan of Alien versus Predator, just because I don't think it captured the spirit of the movie, and it had the god-awful voice acting. But plenty of people have wound up saying that's their favorite of the packs. I mean, it's no slouch at all. It's just in comparison to the other 2.
The refinement of Aliens in itself it's the worst house in the best street.
Right. And the other thing that I can't help but look at is with the Alien pack, Zen really seems to have turned a corner, because now we got the Bethesda pack. Yeah. And I don't think that they would have gone to the extremes that they did with the Bethesda pack. I mean, it's kind of risky what they put out in terms of, is this what a pinball player wants or not? Especially when you compare that to the Balls of Fury pack, which was Family Guy, Bob's Burger, Archer, and American Dad. Those seem more like the, hey, let's just slap a license on top of a table, and it's not really thought out, you might say. There's interesting looks, but it doesn't really capture through and through the field. Whereas
it's a little bit, you kind of really have to be a fan of the franchise to really get those tables. And I'll admit, I rarely touch them. Even though I bought them, I kind of regret that I did, which is a bit of a shame, because I just don't.
And so that's what I'm saying. The Alien pack, they started something here. They went a little bit outside the pinball box, and then that to me has begot the Bethesda pack, which is way outside the box.
I've actually had time to play that now, and and I've got to say, I'm having a really hard time putting down Skyrim. That table is, it's almost like a grudge play to me. Like I finish it. I finish it because I get just nearly to the end of a mission and I don't quite get the mission done, and then I actually end the game. I go and rage start another game to try and get to the end of the mission. I'm actually up to the point where I've got the Elder Scroll, and I'm now trying to fight the dragon. And the last one is pretty hard because the dragon doesn't hang around for that long. So you've got to be quick, I think. I'm still trying to work out what I need to do on it. But yeah, the last round where you face the really mean dragon, see, I don't know what the Elder Scrolls is all about, so I don't know the plot.
Right.
But I think they've actually stuck to the plot pretty strongly here. And it's it's like you're right. Your summation of it last episode, where you said it's an RPG but with flippers, is really accurate. Like you get that feel, and like even you go to the inn and you spend some gold, and you can actually turn the game from day to night because you actually sleep, and the table goes into night mode. Like it's those little touches that up until recently, up until the Aliens pack, like we really hadn't seen that type of deep level integration, that deep type of storytelling from Zen. And here we are. It's like they have ended with a bang.
Right.
Doom is another one that's like very atmospheric, and one that you almost have to play with your headphones because the animal, like the demon sounds are so loud, and so spooky that it's sort of freaks out the rest of the family if I'm playing it. So yeah, it's a dark and gruesome game, that one, and it kind of really fits the theme of Doom. So the other one, Fallout, I'm having a hard time getting into that. I think I don't know what it is. I'm having a hard time working out how to get caps, which seem to be integral to the game to buy things. And I think without caps, the game really doesn't go anywhere. So perhaps
to me, I thought that was, in my limited play, that was the weakest link of the three. But again, I'm going to put it in the Alien versus Predator category, where it's weak because of what it's been paired with, not because itself is...
It's a bad title. I'm sure that
table. Right.
If I had some more time and I go and actually read the tutorial for it, I'm sure I'll get what I need to do, and then I'll enjoy it more. It's just that it doesn't seem to be so readily accessible as the other ones. Like the whole concept of doing, is it not factions, but it's like you've got to go again. I have not played Fallout, so I'm sure if I played Fallout, I know exactly what to do. But it's like one of those things. You just got to give it a bit of time and let it sink in, I think.
All right. So anyway, those were our top moments for 2016 within Pinball. Let's touch upon some of our worst moments that we think. And I'm going to start this off with the obvious. Goddamn Gottlieb's premieres in Pinball Arcade.
Yep, terrible. Get rid of them. Yeah, do not want. I don't think we need to say anything more than that, except get them out. If I see another one, and if I see this level of proliferation of Gottlieb premiere in season 7, there's going to be hell to pay. Yeah,
it's very frustrating considering the pins that are out there that we so much would rather have, and we can only speculate to the reasons why Farsight has been dumping these on us. And hopefully things will change, but ugh.
Yeah, boy. It's the only saving grace for this season really, I think, is the EMs, and that's kind of it. And maybe Doctor Who, like if it lands.
And I said, and 8-Ball Deluxe is no slouch.
Is yeah, there's a lot of,
and I really enjoyed Indy 500, but it's So the premieres are just tainting the entire season for me.
They really are. Yeah, they definitely are.
Another worst 5, and this is only by hearsay for me. Again, no personal experience with this, but I thought it was rather shoddy that this was happening. Apparently, the Stern Ghostbusters, the actual physical machines, they've been having playfield issues with the clouding of the inserts and delamination. Yeah. That's really, really sad when you dump that much money and have that happen. Now, I know that Stern is doing replacement programs, but I mean, come on.
It was a bit of a PR disaster for them because they like Pinside was lighting up with this, and actually the Jeff from the Pinball podcast actually pulled the trigger on a LE and got affected by the bubbling issue, and he is like, right, you know what? Never again. I will never again buy a new in box Stern game ever based on this experience that I've had. And they weren't like, a lot of people were saying, why aren't they handling this publicly and making a statement about it? But I think Nate from the Pinball podcast, who nearly joined Stern as an employee, but decided to go and continue his work with Taylor Guitars at one point, he was sort of discussing the business behind it and saying, look, in the grand scheme of things, the amount of people who are experiencing the bubble playfield issue is small compared to the people who aren't. So for us to make a big song and dance out of this and publicly apologize and do posts and all that sort of stuff, it's not worth the trouble. We're happy to deal with the fallout from a few individuals, a few hardcore pinball fans, and, you know, take the hit essentially. But, you know, it doesn't really fill you with confidence when you're sinking, you know, for us down here, $13,000 on a piece of arcade furniture. And you have bubbling and you go, what do I do now? Like, there was no way you could really understand what you needed to do next. It was terrible.
Yeah. And that leads me into my my last worst, and that is, I don't know if I'm just noticing it now, but this year it seemed like there's a huge rising cost in pinball in general for buying these machines. You know, the fact that, what is it, the Batman 66, that they were selling one for, was it $14,000? You know, just because that was a limited number, and you had to send in an application for it. Yeah, it's like, wow, you know. And then
this isn't a Maserati; it's a bloody pinball machine,
right? Like, and these things are starting to cost that of a, you know, very inexpensive car. But it's like, whoa, and you know what? It isn't just relegated to, you know, a new Jersey Jack pin or a new Stern pin. It's also relegated to these pin cabs. Some, you know, you want all the bells and whistles on your pin cab, it's going to cost you more than a brand new inbox Stern. Now, again, yes, you're going to get it licensed with, you know, all these other tables and stuff, but it's still not.
It's not within the realm of Joe Average, is it?
No, not at all. You know, if you came up with a pin cab that was, you know, $2,000 to $3,000, now you got people that are going, you know what, it's still a lot of money, but it's within the realm of possibility. You know, maybe I save up for a few years or something, or, you know, really put aside something and go ahead and pull the trigger on something like that and get it. But the minute you start talking about $9,000 for one of these things, it's like, ouch, that's excessive.
It's out of the realm of most people. And there's, to some degree, a lot of that's to do with the stuff that goes inside one of these things. Like, you've got to have fairly high spec everything in it to make it work. So when you build that out, and then you have to add in, you know, what is essentially, you know, a cost to produce and then a cost to maintain your business that produces it. I don't think they're making a great deal of profit on them, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I don't know what the solution is, but it's also, like I said, it just seems this year that the prices for these things got just higher and higher. And I was like, whoa, there seems to be a jump. And it leads me to think that I would rather dump my money into VR and have a, you know, have a stand-up cabinet, you know, mini cabinet or whatever, and go that route and enjoy pin that way rather than
you know, you're looking at maybe $3-4 grand maximum to get fully kitted out with a great computer, good quality VR equipment. That's a lot cheaper.
Smaller footprint.
Much smaller footprint. Yep. You can, you know, tuck everything away in a cupboard somewhere and wheel it out when you want to, you know. It's
but again, who knows? Maybe I'll change my tune once I get my hands on one of these, you know, and try it out for myself.
Sure.
But
look, if I had 10 grand, man, I'd love to throw it at a VP cab. You know? But, you know, if I was able to get one, yeah, sure, I'd probably get a VR as well. You know, why not? But yeah, having to describe that, yes, I would like to take up a big footprint with this in the home somewhere, as well as a cost. It's a pretty tough sell for most people.
All right, so those are my worst. You got any worst for yourself?
I think the only other worst thing that I've seen this year, and this is maybe just personal opinion, but the Stern's decision to release another pinball machine Don't know if you've seen these things, but they're like...
I know what you're talking about, but I didn't realize they were releasing a new one.
Yeah, they released one. I think it's the new Spider-Man that they redid. They created the pin version of that. And look, I'm sorry, but I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to make a pinball machine affordable for someone who perhaps isn't fully into pinball. That would be one of the worst presents you could get a pinhead. One of those. Because they're going to look at you going, F off. I don't want this. This is not pinball. This is kiddie pinball, you know. So, no, I don't know if that's a really good direction for them. But look, I'm not Stern. But I certainly would not be paying for one because the cost of them, I think they're about $3 or $4 grand.
Yeah.
So why not just get a Pro?
I think, it's funny because I've never heard any talk of them. Ever, anywhere. I don't hear about it on our forums. I don't hear about it at my league nights. I don't hear anybody. I've never seen one. It's just, that's why I'm really shocked that you're saying they released another one, because I thought after that initial volley, they were like, yeah, okay, we're done with this.
Like, imagine, right? You're at Christmas and your partner, who's well-intentioned, goes, hey, look, I know you like pinball, so I got you the Spider-Man pin. And you go, oh my God. And then you see this thing and you go, F you.
It's the okay, so when I was a kid, this is gonna tangent. When I was a kid, all I wanted was Star Wars action figures, right? That's all I wanted. One Christmas, in my stocking, or actually it wasn't a stocking thing. It was a gift thing. Anyway, I get the gift in my hand, or I feel the present. I feel the cardboard backing. I feel the casing on the front. I'm like, oh yeah, here we go, Star Wars. Rip it open, and it's a freaking Battlestar Galactica character. Now, right? So now here's the thing. If it had been a Cylon, hey, you know what? That's pretty cool. It isn't even the Cylon. It's the freaking alien dude, the Supreme Commander that sat in the chair, right? He's literally purple. He has a purple afro. He doesn't come with a weapon. He's got little hands that are molded together that do nothing. It's like, it would be the same as like being gifted E.T. It's like, oh boy, exciting, right? I mean, it's absolutely the worst. Then I open up another one, and I'm thinking, oh, please be Star Wars, please. Crack it up. No, it's once again or Battlestar Galactica, except for this time it's some dude in a robe, and he's got like a crystal dome head, like he's some kind of a cone head that's see-through. Again, no weapons. This dude doesn't even have hands. He's just got robes that flip up. That's it, right?
Super lame.
Right. So it's that thing of, and then of course, Mom's reaction is, well, but you wanted action figures, and these are Star Wars-y like, right? And you're like, no.
Welcome to the pin.
yeah. So that would be, yes. That's my base model version of, yes. If you were gifted the pin instead of an actual pinball machine, you might as well just gone to Toys R Us and bought the $100 Star Wars pinball plastic thing, and
Yeah. It probably would have been more fun, actually.
Well, but I guarantee the reaction would be about the same, except for at least with that one, they knew that you didn't waste your money on it.
Yeah, you would have been going, I hate to be that guy, but how much did you spend on this?
Right, exactly.
Okay, do you still have the receipt? Can we go and talk to the dealer?
Unfortunately, don't they sell the pin over Amazon? And Amazon's really good about their return policy. So,
oh yeah, that's right. I think they do. It is actually, that's the idea of it. Like, it comes in a box, and I think that's why the reason why it's so small, so Amazon can actually ship it.
I'm gonna have to go look this up now.
Yeah,
just so I can laugh.
Yeah. So yeah, that was probably the low light of the year.
All right.
For me, fantastic. Actual pinball.
Let's move on to one more area, and that is, again, a suggestion by one of our listeners, and that is most desired pin for 2017 to come out on Pinball Arcade that probably won't happen.
That probably won't happen. So pretty much anything licensed. Okay.
But I'm talking about, what is your most desired? Indiana Jones. That one's obvious.
Indiana Jones. Yeah.
Indiana Jones is an obvious one. I think Star Wars. Now, what's interesting is I've never really enjoyed the Star Wars pinball machines that have been out there. I don't think they've nearly captured the license at all the way it should be captured. But it is one of those things where it's kind of like, well, we've got Star Trek out there. Shouldn't we have a Star Wars pinball? But it's more than likely not going to happen. So
no, way too expensive for licensing. Like that would be the Kickstarter that would probably make AC/DC blush with how much it would actually be. So yeah, no way.
Yeah, my most desired there's a slim margin of it happening, but I really think it's going to be a small miracle if it does, and that's NBA Fast Break.
No, yeah, that's just too embroiled in so many different license things, like players, teams, and yes, NBA does actually hold all the licenses for the teams, but player likenesses, you'd have to fester everything in it.
That's the worry, is that you'd have to fester everything. So it makes me wonder, well, I mean, how much would it cost to make a deal with the Players Association? I don't know. It's one of those things where I really don't know what the numbers are, and that's why I say it could actually happen, but I don't think it's going to, and it's going to be a forever disappointment to me.
You know what would be kind of cool, though, if they were doing it, rather than making actual teams up with the player likenesses, they actually kind of use Kickstarter, so you can actually pledge and get your face in the game. That they actually digitize a photo of you and they go, Morgan to the key. That'd be awesome, though, right?
Yeah, they'd have to come up with 28 teams worth of stuff, and then the other thing is that they'd have to license the team names. I don't want to play NBA Fast Break instead it's going to be instead called what's it, Street Ball or something, where it's
that's
we've got the 7th Street Ballers going up against. No, I don't want to have playground basketball. I want the NBA teams doing their thing because I'm only going to be playing the Lakers. Another one
you mean the Lakers?
The Lakers, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think another one that falls in line with NBA Fast Break, that small miracle if they pull it off, and that's World Cup Soccer.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be practically impossible. Good on you, FIFA. Although,
exactly. Good luck with FIFA.
There's plenty of video games out there that use FIFA licensing, so the precedent's there. But we're talking about the software houses that produce those games at EA and Ubisoft. These guys aren't short of a buck.
So I don't know if unfortunately, it's not like Stern has the NASCAR table, which licensing, and then they have Grand Prix, which is the exact same layout. Smart move on their part. Easily making it generic.
They still have the terribly digitized version of Sammy Hagar's what is it? I Can't Drive 55 in both versions, and it's horrible. They should have just not bothered.
Are you saying it's not AC/DC quality music?
Oh, it's indistinguishable from.
It's like bad MIDI track.
Oh, it's bad MIDI track with bad vocal because I don't even think it's Sammy Hagar.
Of course, they wouldn't pay for Sammy. You got any tales, or shall I rattle off the other ones that are my most desired?
No, I don't.
All right, let's see if you these. My last two, I think, are more in the realm of possibility. They're certainly on my most desired list. We'll see if they can do that. First one is Big Bang Bar.
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice.
I think the most difficult part of that is just them doing a Capcom table. Pure and simple. It has nothing to do with, there's no licensing involved. It's just getting a hold of one and creating the emulation for it.
Although they did it with Elvin G & Co. apparently. Like, we're going to be getting some Elvin Gs in the near future, so that uses their own sort of emulation framework. So I don't know. It's possible.
It's possible. There's certainly getting more into the realm of that probably could happen. So if it happens in 2017, I certainly would be stoked about it.
Yeah, it's a great table, but it's totally not G-rated. Even with family mode on, I don't think you could even get it past G rating or PG. It's definitely PG.
It's definitely, well, yeah, I mean, it's a PG-13 table, but I don't think it's, again, I don't think it's any worse than Medieval Madness or any worse than Scared Stiff.
Yeah.
And I saw plenty of Scared Stiffs not in family mode in the arcade back in the day. So.
Oh, yeah. I played heaps of them as well, and no one cares. But, you know, the ESRB does.
Yeah.
So, pain in the ass.
My number one most desired that I fingers crossed it actually does happen, but there's still roadblocks preventing it from happening, and that's roller games.
Again,
it's hands down my most desired game. It's been my most desired game since Pinball Arcade came out. The first time I ever went up and visited Farsight, which was during their first season of Pinball Arcade, I talked to Bobby, and I was like, "You do know about roller games, right?" And at that time, he was like, "I'm not sure if I know that one." And I was like, "Ah," and I, vocalized it. And every single time I've talked to the guys at Farsight, I mentioned roller games. It's my number one. That's my holy grail, you might say.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm lucky enough to already have my holy grail, which is Safecracker. But yeah, it will be really good to get that one in because it's one I've never played before. So it'd be great to give it a go.
What are you laughing at?
I'm sitting in a meeting room at the moment. It's getting towards the end of my allotted time in the meeting room, and a couple of these people are walking past the room, giving me strange looks, not because they want to get into the room, just because they want to throw me off the game. So, and it's not working.
He's maintaining his composure. Well, we're going to let you get out of here in just a quick jiffy. A couple of notes of business to take care of first. Hey, have you followed us on Twitter? Then why don't you do that? Follow at BlahCade for the main show notes, or follow us individually. I am at Shut Your Traps. He is at Jared Morgs. You can also drop us email to the show. It is BlahCade at gmail.com. Why don't you visit our website? It is, oh man, I always blow it up.
BlahCade Pinball.
BlahCade Pinball. Let's try that again.
BlahCadePinball.com.
Why don't you visit our website, BlahCadePinball.com? I personally am on Instagram. I don't post many pinball things on Instagram. I post a lot of work stuff on Instagram. If you were following me, you would have seen we just went to Universal Studios again yesterday. We visited a Lardboy Donuts where we purchased a donut that's the size of my son's head.
This sounds pretty good. I had a cookie this morning that was almost as big as my head. It would make Cookie Monster very proud. It's up on my Twitter if you want to have a look.
In addition, where I'm going to be posting what our holiday wreath. There's a holiday wreath contest at the show I'm on. All the departments are making their own wreaths, and ours for the camera department is pretty spectacular, if I do say so myself. So those are the kind of things that I post on Instagram. I'm at, again, just look up Shut Your Traps or Chris Freebus, either or, and you'll be able to find me. Go ahead and view some of the pics. Follow us that way. I don't know, Jared, are you on Instagram?
No, I'm not on Instagram. I've already got enough things that I'm on.
Exactly. We don't have enough things, but I figure enough people hate Twitter. Maybe they're on Instagram and they can do it that way.
There's one thing for sure. You definitely won't find me on Facebook. Well, I'm there, but I don't do anything. So much so that I've actually got notifications turned off.
Boom.
So, yeah. No, really, I don't even know why I'm still signed up to the service.
Yeah, and I do Facebook all the time, but I don't accept people that I don't know. Because there's been some instances in the past where I think, Jared, you were brutalized by certain people that started spamming you with very hateful things.
Oh, yeah. They got blocked pretty quickly.
Yeah, but none of us want to have to deal with blocking that. It's a pain in the butt. So,
yeah, that's right.
Beyond that, folks, regarding the show, as you may guess, it's the holidays, so we're going to be skipping a week yet again.
Yes. And we may do a New Year's show.
May or may not. Who knows? It's going to be New Year's. Depends on.
We're just going to play it by ear.
Exactly. So for that, regardless, this is our last show of 2016. We do really want to thank you all for listening. We completely appreciate it. We love doing this, and we would do it regardless of if you listened or not, but it does make it more fun knowing that there are listeners, and we love the interaction when you guys have contacted us, given us show ideas, made suggestions.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your support throughout the year, just with your comments and everything. Like Chris says, it makes it fun to keep doing what we do. So thanks again.
Absolutely. Okay, so with that, we're going to let Jared actually go to his job.
Do some work.
I'm going to enjoy the rest of my Sunday evening. Yeah, thanks for listening. So we'll talk to you again in the new year. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.